Good morning, everyone. Today is December 28th, Monday. Hope all of you had a great and wonderful holiday and were able to take a break and relax. Maybe watch some movies or had a dinner with your loved one and so on. I just want to give you highlights for what happening Friday or last week and what's up to this week. There are a few highlights in the week before the holiday. Despite lower volume of trades and COVID-19 mutant cases discovered in UK, US index and higher. After a series of discussion, Congress passed a stimulus bill awaiting President sign-off. That was last week. Friday was handed over. Initial jobless claim went down again compared to previous week, but still indicated a slow economic recovery. McDermott, symbol mRNA, and NeoBiotech, symbol BITX, went down about 10 to 15%. McDermott, like as high as $150 and down to 115 as very low of the week and end of 123. And NeoBiotech was below $100. So those two stocks you can probably watch from a technical perspective and think about the volume potential they're selling to UK with the vaccine. Something to consider, maybe buy the stock, but I don't know if the reason why last week the price were down because pretty much the sales of the vaccine were kind of priced into the equation. But think about McDermott was as high as $170 when the announcement was made that they were approved to sell the vaccine to UK, and now it's coming back down, which is like $40+ discount. It's probably still a good stock to buy. I'm not sure about BNTX, but below $100 probably still a good deal. But again, you have to spend a little more time studying that. Peloton was record high after laid out the plan of increasing production by buying another company to manage the backlog. U.S. future for the Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Russell 200 and global stock all popped on Monday. Japan's Nikkei advanced, but Hong Kong's Hang Seng was in a wet, negative 0.25% as the sell-off resumed. All those big China stocks like Alibaba, Tencent were in the antitrust case and basically were penalized. And China government have been very clear about the antitrust policy that will be the focus for 2021. So lesson learned, I guess, from March, Jack. And what I think it is very important to understanding the history and really the fundamental of the banking system, right? I mean, despite the reality of cryptocurrency, the new innovation about the phone, how easily to pay and finance using those instruments or technology, they're still different. I mean, high tech is high tech, finance is finance. I mean, there are two different things that are great to be blend together, but they're still bound to regulation. So that's just something to, to hopefully understanding and the importance of the regulation. Really, I can give you a good example. I mean, that company who just loan to anybody, right? And then they mark it very well and make it to be like a package and sell it off to the bank, right? Or the bank the other way around. In U.S. history, you noted that they have done that and they make the bundle of a package selling the investors and they actually hedging against the market don't crash, right? If crash, they pay you really good money. People were betting on that, and when the market was in crisis, financial crisis, those financial instruments fell first and actually creating the was a domino effect. So really, the China government has really legitimacy to worry about the health of the financial system, given this new instrument or new technologies, bringing up new business and new idea or the area to growth of financing. So it is important. I can give a good example. My friend would go to these places and explain to me. I think a little exaggerated how much money they can borrow from these high tech through the phone and the financing company, but they would go ahead and borrow the money. All they need is just their ID. So what happened is they borrow so much money to different financing activity company that they actually will not be able to pay off. I mean, there's really no way to pay off because if you look at how much salary they make versus the money they borrow, right? So at the end of the day, they either ask their friends to borrow money them to pay them off, or they get themselves in trouble, which means they do a lot of illegal or bad activities just to help out to pay off the debt, right? So in my view is, yeah, that is something need to be controlled, right? There are a lot of people, they don't think well enough. They just go and borrow money because of the convenience, and they didn't realize the consequences. So I mean, I fully supported the regulations and think, they had to have a balance between the two. And then by 6:15 a.m. Eastern time, the pound was down 0.5% at $1.3487. I mean, despite that, when the Brexit came in the last minute, which is a Christmas gift for UK and Europe, it does drive the sterling in Europe higher, but but in the morning it slipped a little bit. It was down 0.6% against the euro at 1.1046. Bitcoin has reached as high as 27,000 yesterday during the time of Asian time of the day down that trading the currency. Alibaba shares in Hong Kong fell another 8% overnight after Chinese central bank launched a fresh attack on its financial system affiliate Ant Group. Again, I just covered the financial services versus a high tech. I mean, it's not a gray area, but really how they integrate it. But they also should have still bonded to the regulations, and I guess I'm not sure if there's some disconnect between the communication of the Ant Group or Jack Ma with the government, or understanding the authority of how the difference between the high tech platform and the financial services. This week will be another short week as the market will be closed on Friday, ring the new year. Data on pending home sales and good trade balance still Wednesday. Weekly U.S. initial jobless claim on Thursday still. The stimulus deal removes two sources of uncertainty for investors. That's why you see the market futures were up this morning. It provides some relief to struggling American before President Joe Biden takes office next month, which is January 20th. And really, you kind of let them getting the, again, I have been stressed many times for those who hear my video before that, how many Americans are suffering with no fault of their own, really, right? Because of the pandemic, really, causing job shutdown and small business in risk. Restaurant, were not able to operating as usual. I mean, while we're being resilient and very innovative in different ways, you have some companies like Zoom and DocSign, those type of home office company that kind of benefit from it, or Amazon doing different ways. People were shopping online, buying the grocery in Whole Food, right, for vegetable, fresh vegetable, or utilizing that store to get the food delivered to home. I mean, we still realize that no job is no job, right? The challenge is, in my view, is I don't talk about politics, but to balance a number is a magic, right? The way you're doing it, which think about it, is U.S. has a pretty heavy tax in the taxation system. I mean, when I'm getting $600 or $1,200, whatever the magic number is, well, on an average, people make $50,000 a year in nationwide, or depending on how you measure it. In the presidential election, they say the mean was only like close to $40,000. Well, still do the math. You only do running less than a year, right? I mean, 6 months possibly. You basically already pay the tax out of the tax, personal income tax, or pay off the stimulus you received from government, right? And the key thing is, if I don't have a job, no income, government not survive, not the personal being. It's just that simple. So the while we all really working on, which is the like of a ton of vaccine is already in place, some million people already injected in America. It is very important for company to have more optimism. Most what they call budgeting is already done, for 2021. So hopefully there will be more companies hiring, offsetting the layoff that still go emotions, because there are a lot of company, especially in Houston, the energy company announced layoff, but had not really get those people out on collecting unemployment yet. So So there's a balance between the two, and hopefully more jobs are seen and be able to actually line up with the people with the skill set. Or it's very difficult to be perfectly matched. So I hope if they get close to to where it is. But again, there's so much competitions these days. 500 people apply for one job or 1,000. Some people arguing that these are people doing the just one press on the computer. I agree with it, but even if you take that off, that maybe 30-40% of people really have some sort of, may not be perfect alignment, but maybe 60-70% line up with what the job expectations are. And they cut shortlist of 10 people looking for interview at the end of the day. You're still talking about 10% chance to get a job. We're going through 2 or 3 interviews with the pay cut. So something to bear in mind. I hope people who listen to my video who lost a job or you still have a job, you're understanding the challenges of the argument that I have made it very clear for people who the government was saying people were lazy just to collect the extra $300. It's not the case. It is not really the fault of the person who not trying to get a job. Is there not enough job out there? And Powell made it very clear about what he said before. He wanted to drive the full employment, do what he can from physical policy, from the fact what is allowed to do, but he really thinking the Congress need to act. And the reason for that also is there's some jobs and transformation of job as we knows that. And one of part of the argument I have as well, which get people to think about, forget about efficiency or company profitability. Really, like we're still seeing a lot of jobs that's still located outside of U.S. in not just China, right? I know that focus was in China from Trump administration, but really in India, there's a lot of IT job going to India, and there are a lot of financial services job in Philippines, right? So the question is, how are we really get a job back? Maybe Biden administration can look into how to get some job back, right? If my proposal, if I am allowed to propose, is U.S. government have been always very legitimate to provide tax incentive to corporations. Company meant to make 33% tax, but the effective rate, if you look at it, is far lower, like 15%, 10 to 15%. Why and how? I don't understand that, right? So for us personally, we can't do that except rich people. Somebody pays $750, and Warren Buffett say he pays $600 a year for tax. So what we need to do is to creating incentive for these people, like Apple as an example, to continue giving them, the good tax break only if they meet the threshold or percentage of jobs or have some jobs back to U.S. I think this is the quickest solution for unemployment, right? Why are we unemployed? Because there's not enough job in the United States. How can we increase job in the United States? That is the key for politicians to think. Not me. I can only provide a suggestion, right? But I'm not in politics, so. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will upload another video that driving and talking about what stock to invest that can position yourself very well in 2021. Have a nice day.